Welcome to Richard Mabey Presents.
Hello, YouTube friends. This is Richard Mabey with Richard Mabey Presents, and I'm back on the rocking chair. I kind of like these rocking chair talks, reminiscing with Richard, you know. So, I have the very, very cool Superman shirt, Superman combination collectible Superman and Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon, way back when, I think it was in the 90s, his car, a lot of the race car drivers put, it was a one-time race, and they put superheroes, painted superheroes on the hoods of their car, and it was very cool. So, reminiscing with Richard on the rocking chair, Triple R, reminiscing with Richard on the rocking chair. So, I wanted to talk about my dad and his work with Boy Scouts. My dad was Scoutmaster of Boy Scout Troop 170, which was sponsored by St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in Lincoln Park, New Jersey. And Dad was Scoutmaster for 28 years, from 1966 to 1994. And but he was a Scout leader for 30 years, because from 1964 to 1966 he was a committeeman and the Scoutmaster of before my dad retired from being a Scoutmaster in in the June of 66, and the committee met and all that kind of thing, and they chose my dad to be Scoutmaster. And in September of 1966, Dad became Scoutmaster of Boy Scout Troop 170, and he was a great Scout leader, phenomenal Scout leader. He earned the District Award of Merit, and the highest award that a Scouter can receive, that of the Silver Beaver. Now, people argue there's some kind of an award that, like they award to the President of the United States, or they award to maybe the Speaker of the House, and they maybe they were a Scout when they were a kid, but they're not, involved. They're not obviously not, like, you can't be President of the United States. They're not involved with Scouting, hands-on. They're not a Scoutmaster. It's kind of a very honorary thing. Traditionally, the President of the United States was the honorary president of Boy Scouts of America. Kind of a political thing. I don't know if they still do that, but they used to do that in the 60s. But however, for a volunteer scout leader, the Silver Beaver is the highest award that a volunteer scout leader can receive. It's very hard to get. So anyway, and it was we went to two national jamborees down in Virginia, Fort A.P. Hill. It was in 1985 and 1989. I was kind of glad Dad got to do that, because ever since he became Scoutmaster, he always wanted to bring the troop to a jamboree, but it was very difficult, because people don't realize it's really, really difficult to get a it's very difficult to bring a Boy Scout troop to a national jamboree. It's a lot of paperwork, and only so many troops from each council. Now, we have one of the largest councils in the United States of America. It was in Northeast New Jersey, combined two heavily populated counties, Morris County and Sussex County. So, I mean, there were thousands and thousands of Scouts in the council and hundreds of Boy Scout troops. So it took a long time for Dad to get the the recognition, the status for the top-notch big wheels, the professional scouters, to say, okay, Troop 170 can, and even then in '85, it still wasn't that easy. There was a lot of paperwork, you know. So anyway, you had to get, a lot of recommendations from top-notch scout leaders and all that, commissioners and all that. But anyway, we did go to the in 1985 and '89. Troop 170 went to the both. The National Jamboree is only every 4 years. It's like presidential elections. But Dad and I shared a canoe down the Delaware. We would start in upstate New York and go down all through the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border, down there all the way to just about the end of we're close, the end of New Jersey there. We go for 7 days. I think it was 7 days, 7 nights, something like that. Anyway, maybe it was 6 days. Anyway, because we would get home Sunday around 11 in the morning, so that the men could rest up for going to work Monday. So yeah, we there was a thing called Skinner's Falls, and that's in the area between where the Delaware is sandwiched between New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and it's right around the area of Digman's Ferry, Pennsylvania. And I'm telling you, those rapids are bad. Wow, they're powerful rapids. I mean, it's white water, and I'm in the moment here, and I'll have to check it out on the internet. But I think it's a couple miles of white water, and the heart of it, you're moving. I mean, you're really, it takes. I used to go in the front. I used to steer from the front, and Dad was in the back. And we made a good team, and we went down the Delaware 4 or 5 times. I started the summer between 8th grade and freshman year of high school, right to, I had a tough time earning my Eagle Scout. I had a rheumatic fever when I was in 7th grade, 12 years old, and for 1 year of my life, my feet never touched the ground. I was in and out of the hospital. So there were 3 merit badges, and back then, in the 1960s, now you can have either or, but you there was no choice. You had to earn physical fitness, swimming merit badge, and life-saving merit badge. Now, physical fitness took me the whole summer between my 8th grade and freshman year of high school. The summer of 1967 took me the whole summer, and I worked 5 days a week on it. I mean, I really worked hard on that. I would get winded very easily, and so you had to run, I don't know what it was. It was a mile. I don't know. I'm working from memory. But it seemed like it was a good distance. Maybe it was a mile you had to run. And you had to do it by a certain time. And I was having a real tough time. I would get winded very easily. And there were no exceptions. But there was a gentleman in our troop who was a high school coach, and he worked with me, and we would meet every Saturday morning about 9 o'clock in the morning, and he would work with me till about 2 o'clock. But I kept a log, and I used to go down to the grade school, which is now a middle school, which is now actually a private school. And I think the perimeter, if I remember right, the perimeter was a quarter mile. The perimeter of the entire campus of this middle school was a quarter mile. And I would run it as fast as I could. and I would get up in the morning, have breakfast, ride my bicycle down to it was about a mile from my house, and then there was a baseball diamond there at the middle school, and I used to run the bases just for fun, just because I wanted to build up the endurance, and you had to do so many push-ups and so many pull-ups and so many sit-ups. So it took me the whole summer to build up the strength, the stamina, the overcoming getting winded easily. And then swimming and life saving, it took me a long time to get. And I went to I was having a hard time, and the merit badge counselor I was going to said, you'll never earn your swim merit badge, let alone your life saving merit badge. You're wasting my time. So I signed up with the YMCA in Patterson, and that was the summer between my freshman year and sophomore year. And I went there just about every day. And so the swimming instructor there, I convinced her to sign up to be a merit badge counselor. But even after I passed the merit badge, they gave me a hard time because Patterson's in Passaic County. So she became a merit badge counselor in Passaic County. And it was really a tough thing. But then they recognized, they said, well, wait a second, she's an instructor at the YMCA. She's a swimming instructor, she's qualified. But it didn't come easy. And then my life saving at the same thing at the YMCA. But Dad was a great Scoutmaster, phenomenal Scoutmaster. And and we hiked the Appalachian Trail a lot. I think we would start. I don't know exactly where we would start in New York State and come down. There's a little section you cross there in Jersey. They call it High Point. And it's interesting. There's one point in Jersey where it's such a swampland in that northwest quadrant where you walk on these plankings. And it's really cool because maybe it's 3 miles on these plankings. But there would be like, I don't know, this was the heyday of the baby boomers in 1965, 66 in there, 67. And you would hear this, everybody had their hiking boots on, these old wooden planks, and it was just the coolest sound. I can still remember that sound. And it was only like about 3 miles or so. And you couldn't take a break. And I remember there was like a sign there, and it said, it wasn't a big sign, but a sign said, okay, get a drink of water, find a tree, because for the next, you're gonna be walking in this swamp, and you're just gonna be walking on these wooden planks. So, and we would go, kind of weaving in Pennsylvania. I think we used to end up between, there's a town in Pennsylvania called Fayetteville. And that's just east of Gettysburg. And I think that's where we would end up. And, but Dad and I hiked the Appalachian Trail for one entire week. I think it was 6 days of hiking the Appalachian Trail. And we did that for 4 or 5 times. And they were good times, Everything's on your back. I think we had one station where we had made arrangements with one of the committeemen. It was going to be a drop-off station. But there's like, you'll be going on the trail, and then there's like a little sign, there's like a little general store. And it's like, it's like from the Waltons, Godse's general store, But, everything's on your back. I used to use a plastic piece of plastic, heavy duty plastic, and with like that, what did they call that kind of rope? But it was a thin rope, but manila rope between two trees, throw it over, and have Dinty Moore stew, you really had to. Now Dinty Moore stew comes in smaller cans. Back then it was in pretty big cans. So we'd bring this empty Tupperware container, and after you'd opened it up, and I can't forget what we. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, it's coming back to me. Yeah, Dad and I would we would open up one can of Dinty Moore stew, share it. We had our little personal mess kit. Share wow. It's all coming back to me. And share the Dinty Moore stew. So that we each had about 3 cans. And we had other things other than, for supper, other than Dinty Moore stew. Maybe we each had a can of Dinty Moore stew, and that would be 2 suppers. And then we had other things, But wow, what great times. Great times, wonderful times. I mean, you go out on that Appalachian Trail for a week. I'm telling you, just to hike the Appalachian Trail for a week, you can't, if you start out on the Appalachian Trail, if you start out as an atheist, you're going to by your 7th day, you're going to be seeing that this universe, this earth, was created by an intelligence vastly greater than any human mind. I mean, it's such a peace of mind. Birds chirping and squirrels scurrying about and rabbits, running around, and snakes. There's snake. You see snakes and deer. Oh, you're walking the trail and you're coming to a stream, a babbling brook, and there just a few yards away is 3 or 4 deer drinking the water in the stream. It's just brings you a peace of mind. It just brings you an assurance of the blessing of nature, the blessing of wildlife. I learned so much in Scouts. I learned a great deal about first aid that was never covered in the public school system. I learned, public safety. I had 21. I had 24 merit badges. It's a long story, but I kept, even when I was struggling with swimming and life saving, I kept earning merit badges, and I wanted to get a POM, which is, it takes 5 more than 21. Back then, it took 20. You needed 26 merit badges to get the first POM, and I had 24. And then I was going to go for the weather merit badge. I was interested in the weather, how weather is predicted. And I was ready, and I was going to go. And then one of the big wheels in the council, and I was beginning to make my application. I only needed 2 more merit badges, and I had the weather just about done with the counselor. And they said, "Well, no, you have to earn those 5 merit badges after you received your Eagle Scout." So I said, at that point I was a senior in high school, and I'm worrying about, college applications and SATs, tests, and all that stuff. So, and I was working nights at the grocery store. So it just was, I mean, if I was able to get just 2 more merit badges to get the palm, I would have done it. But I couldn't, start. I received my Eagle Scout, or my official date on my Eagle Scout award is December 7th, 1970, and I was in my senior year of high school. So, most of my buddies, they earned it like their freshman or sophomore year of high school. And it took me a little longer, but it was worth it. I mean, there were quite a few merit badge counselors, swimming and life-saving swimming merit badge counselors that failed me, and they were unkind and said, you're wasting my time, And then I went to the Patterson YMCA, and I worked hard. I worked really hard to earn my swimming and life-saving merit badges. But scouting is a great thing. I know scouting is getting a bad press, and I know recently, and I always liked Ron Howard from the time I was 7 years old. Actually, even before that, when he was on Dennis the Menace. Most people don't realize Ron Howard was on Dennis the Menace before he was on the Griffith Show. But I always had such a high degree of respect for Ron Howard, and he made this documentary, and it was really anti-scouting. And I have to call it like it is. It was unfair, and I was shocked that someone as intelligent as Ron Howard actually produced a documentary that was so absolutely one-sided, so absolutely unfair, so absolutely derogatory of scouting, simplified, and I don't want to go into it, there was a problem in scouting, and there was, but it wasn't as wide. I mean, they made it almost sound like, it was like in every scout troop, and 90% of the scouts had horrible experiences, and it wasn't the case at all. But yeah, I kind of like this. I kind of like sitting on the rocking chair in the Florida room. There's the old captain, the old sea captain and his grandson there. I kind of like it, just reminiscing, sharing, caring and sharing, reflecting. I'll be 70 in September, and I'm starting to feel old. And I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this YouTube vlog thing. I'll do it as long as I can, but I'm starting to feel old, and it's tough. I try my best to do a Monday to Friday every day vlog. I try to do five vlogs a week, 5 videos a week, and Adam the Woo does 7 days a week. He hardly ever, he is every day. Saturdays and Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I don't know how he does it. I have so much immense respect for Adam the Woo, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe I got another good year, to do these YouTube videos, But it's fun, and I, get to people share their opinions, and sometimes they're very kind thoughts, and sometimes they're not so kind. That's just the way life is. But you think about leaving your mark after you leave this physical earth, after when the soul departs from this physical body, I think about, what kind of a mark will I leave for people. And this YouTube vlog is kind of like part of my legacy, if you will, So, well, I'm going to close, so keep a good thought. Stay happy, stay positive. And now the girls are in scouting. Boys, I don't know if they still call it Boy Scouts. Maybe they just call it Scouts. But, if you know a 11-year-old boy or girl, encourage them to join scouting. It's a wonderful thing. You go camping and hiking and, you learn a lot. So, yeah. So, until my next video, take good care. Peace, love, and harmony. This is Richard, signing off.